so today we are going to go over the Anne McGovern and John Muth stone soup. We're going to compare and contrast those. So we're going to look and see how they're alike and how they're different. So one thing that I can think of in the story that's the same is, I'm going to use a bullet point, they both have stones. Okay, they both use stones. Something else is that they use a fire to cook. All right. And maybe you can come up with a third of how they're alike. All right. So what does the Anne McGovern story has? The Anne McGovern story has, a young man that comes into town, and the John Muth has 3 monks. All right. Over here, we have one old lady. And over here, we have a village. Okay. Maybe you can come up with some, I'm going to ask for 2 more differences. Probably the biggest differences that you're going to have is what they put in the soup. Maybe it's something that happened in the story, tricking versus sharing, that kind of thing. So I'm going to leave it up to you. I want one more compare. So how are they both alike? And then I want 2 more contrasts of how they're different. Remember, we're not saying they don't have. We're saying what they have that is different. So remember, I put a young man and 3 monks. That was one thing that's different about them. This one had one old lady, and this one had a village full of people. Okay. Something else for today. If you look in your book, your response booklet on page 8. Okay, on page 8, it's a story map. You're going to be writing something to go along with stone soup. You're going to be writing something called a sequel. What is a sequel? Well, that's a good question. A sequel is a story that continues on from the first story. So you're going to continue on the first story that we read, and that's the Anne McGovern one. You're going to continue on, and you're going to write a sequel to the stone soup. Now, that's not the one with the 3 monks. No. You're going to continue the story that Anne McGovern wrote, all right, with the young man and the old woman. You're going to tell me what happens to the young man. What does he do next? So, who's going to be in your story? Who are the characters? This can just be a list. This does not have to be in complete sentences. This can just be a list. Where and when will your story happen? Just a list again. Down here at the bottom, what will you make with the stones? Are you going to make soup again, or are you going to make something else? Remember, you're writing the sequel. It's your story. All right? Then when you turn the page, you've got on page 9, you've got what ingredients you're going to need to complete your recipe. How do you get the ingredients? Do they come from one person, or do they come from many people? But you have to tell me exactly how you get each ingredient, where it comes from, okay? On this side, you've got what will happen when the recipe's finished. Basically, who's eating it? Are you eating it? Is everyone eating it? Who's eating it? And then down here, you need to decide how your story is going to end. So these are just ideas that you're jotting down in your response booklet, okay, from page 8 to the end. And this is what you're going to work on for today and Friday, okay? You're going to finish it on Friday. If you did not get an extra piece of paper in your packet, I apologize, but you can write your story on any kind of paper you want. If you want to add illustrations to your story, that would be awesome. You can do that. But I do want to see you writing your ideas down on pages 8 through 10. All right. And then I do want to see a finished story. All right. So you have Thursday and Friday to do your story, okay? And you can turn it in when you finish. Like I said, you can illustrate it if you want. So you can draw the pictures, you can color the pictures. It's totally up to you, but I am going to be looking at your story. So make sure in your story, here I am. Make sure in your story you have who's in your story. So who are the characters? Where and when your story is going to happen. What you're making with the stone. It doesn't have to be soup, but it can be another kind of soup. What ingredients you're going to need for your recipe so that you have an idea of maybe how many characters you need and where the ingredients are going to come from. You got to tell me how you're going to get those ingredients. You have to tell me what happens when you finish making the recipe, whatever it is. You're going to tell me who eats it, and you have to make sure you have an ending. What's going to happen with the stones? Okay? It's your story. You use your imagination, come up with whatever you want, because remember, we don't really make soup with stones. But this is your story. You get to use your imagination, and you can make whatever you want to with your stone. All right? If you do have questions, please make sure you have mom or dad contact me, okay? Because this might be a little tricky for some of us, but I think you should really have fun with it, okay? Don't limit yourself. Have fun. Write a good story. You guys wrote a story for Mrs. Emmerich. You can do it again. I know you can. You guys did a great job with that. So show me what you got, because I know you can do it. All right. Good luck.